Hi folks, welcome to Modified episode 4, where we share with you four-wheel drives that have been accessorised and modified for everyday use and four-wheel driving. Subscribers, welcome back. First time viewers, hi, I'm Ronnie from fourwheeling-in-westernaustralia.com, the four-wheel drive website that pretty much has everything covered with four-wheel driving and camping. So let's get into the vehicle behind me. Righto folks, I'll introduce you to the owner of this vehicle. Chris, how you going mate?
Good.
So you want to tell us what this is and when you got it, what year it is?
Alright, she's a Toyota 70 Series Landcruiser, VDJ 79. She's a 2007 model, so
Yep.
the first of the V8s.
One of the first, yep.
Yeah, so she's powered by a 4.5 litre V8 diesel, turbo intercooled, and yeah, she was completely stock when I bought her, completely.
Yeah, completely
And
stock.
then this is all what's happened, yeah.
Is it a workmate, yeah?
It's a workmate, yep.
Yep, but you put flares and all that on?
That's correct, yep.
Yep. And it's got the old dash because it's...
It certainly has, so she's pre-airbag.
Yep, pre-airbag,
Which is what we like, it's got the Jesus bar there for my wife.
Yeah. Right, cool. All right, well, we'll start off like we normally do. We'll go through the bar work and work our way through the vehicle. So bar work, Chris, you obviously put all this on because it was standard to start with?
Yeah, that's correct, yeah. So it had a Toyota bar on it.
It had a Toyota bar on it?
Non-winch.
Okay.
So I put the ARB winch bar on, and with a winch, and did the scrub rails at the same time.
Yeah, I can see they've been used the video.
Yeah, certainly saved the car.
Yeah, and you got the side steps as well.
That's correct. Yeah.
Cool. What size winch you got?
She's an 11,000 pound Runva XP.
Yep.
She's a cheap winch, but she pulls hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paid for itself already, eh?
Certainly has, and it's running the Dyneema rope. So she's nice and light and safe for recoveries.
Yeah. This vehicle's been on a few trips with us and I have seen that winch hard working on the Harvey Hill one. Bash plates.
Yeah, so under the bar I've got the Bush Skins radiator protector. Yep. She's 5 mil, so she's a big heavy one.
That is a thick one, eh?
Yeah. So I've put that in just to protect the radiator.
Yep.
And then I've also got the ARB recovery point there.
Oh, yeah, a single point. Yep. We'll move on to your lights.
So my lights, they're Hella 4000s. They were halogen, and I put aftermarket 75 watt HID kits in them.
Oh, they're HIDs now?
They are, yeah.
And
they've got the internal ballast.
Yep.
And I do a lot of night driving, so I've got the 2 spots and the spread in the middle.
Spread in the middle. Yeah,
and
cool.
She lights up the road. It's great.
Yeah. You feel you don't need any more lights pretty much for those ones?
No.
Yeah.
And they're metal base. They're strong light.
Radio?
Yeah, so I've got
AM, FM?
Yeah, that's AM, FM whip. I've only put that on to just to save my factory one from trees and whatnot.
Yep.
A bit more durable.
Okay, and that's obviously UHF?
And UHF, yeah.
What DB is that?
6.5.
Oh, 6.5, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. You get decent range out of that one?
Yeah. Sort of, it's in the middle, you know.
Yeah.
So good for long range and not too bad for short range, hilly.
Tyres and suspension now. So Chris, I noticed these rims, they look very sort of Toyota-ish factory.
Yep.
But they're not Toyota rims, are they? So.
No, they're an Allied rim. They're Allied Savannahs, which are very similar to the factory GXL rims.
Yeah.
The difference is these are a 16x8.
Yep.
The factory is a 16x7.
Yep. Okay.
So to run larger tyres,
you
just want that little bit more width.
Okay. These are 35s, but I swear they look bigger. I reckon it's because of that rim. So you got Coopers. How do you rate the Coopers?
Yeah, this is my second set of Coopers. I love them, to be honest. I run them at low pressure all the time.
Yeah.
Lots of long corrugated roads, straight down to 20 pound, I should say.
Yep.
And I've had no problem with them at all. They've been great with the sand and the mud.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
I know there's a lot of people that don't like them.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that. There's a lot of people that, but I honestly have no experience with Coopers, but you just hear a lot of bad stuff about them. But you always hear the bad stuff, never the good stuff, really.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, we'll move on to your lift because that's one of the main things on this vehicle. First of all, what size lift you got in it?
She's between a 4 and a 5.
Yep.
So in the front here, I've got 4-inch Dobinson coils, and I've just got a 1-inch spacer in there.
Yep.
I put the spacer in there when I first put the coils in because I wasn't sure how they were gonna sit, or if they were gonna sag at all.
Yeah, okay.
But they've been fine. She's sat there quite well, and I haven't pulled the spacer out, and I've just left it as it is.
Yeah. Cool. And I noticed you got a reservoir for your shocky.
Yeah, that's correct. So I went the Armada shocks, which are a remote reservoir.
Yeah.
So basically, all that means is the gas, the nitro gas, or nitrogen gas, and the oil separate.
Okay.
So
like cooling.
well, under lots of extreme use, again, long corrugations and that, the shocks won't get hot because the two elements are separate there.
Yeah, yeah.
So they've always been known as a sort of, a lot of the performance comp guys have used them, but they're great for touring as well for that reason.
So what's the length of the shock?
They're 5-inch shocks.
Okay, and the spring is what, 4, and then you got the 1-inch spacer?
Yeah, that's right. But they are a long shock as well, so I had to do some research on it. I've actually had to extend my bump stops on here, so I've extended them. Otherwise, with the shock compressed, I would have damaged it.
Then.
Oh, it was actually the shock itself.
Oh, it was the shock itself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Before the wheel touched the
Before
guard?
the wheel would come up further than the shock, yeah.
And the rear?
And the rear, I've got a 2-inch EFS leafs, medium, and I'll put the Superior extended shackles on them.
Okay. So it's a medium because it looks like you got a lot of leaves there, so there can't be much difference between a heavy and a medium.
Yeah, I went medium because I've got the alloy tray, and to be honest, I don't carry a lot of weight. She doesn't do much work this year.
And there's your reservoir for the rear ones, the rear shocks as well?
Yeah, that's correct. So obviously the reservoirs have to be mounted as well.
Yeah.
So I just mounted them to the cross member at the bottom of the tray there.
Yeah. So we're at the front of the vehicle now, and Chris is going to run us through all the little bits and bobs he's had to add. And we'll start with the panhard rod, right here, the Superior one. Now you've added this because?
So because I've gone to effectively a 4-inch lift,
Yep.
I've had to put an adjustable panhard rod in, basically to bring the diff back to centre, because the diff will move to sideways.
Yep.
The higher you lift your car.
Drive without the panhard to start with?
Not with this lift, but I had a 3-inch lift in it before.
Okay.
And she was rubbing on the driver's side there.
Yeah, rubbing on the driver's side but pulling to the left?
I didn't notice any on-road handling, but definitely scrubbing on one side of the car. I've left the sway bar in.
Yep.
I do a lot of country miles on this,
Yeah.
just for safety on the road, so she's not so boaty at high speeds. Because I've left the sway bar in, I've had to put sway bar extensions in there.
Yeah, yeah. And without that sway bar extension, the sway bar is going to rub on your front drive shaft. The sway bar. It's got the factory bracket, but over here, it's on the Superflex arm.
Yeah, that's correct. So, because this is a Superflex setup,
Yeah.
on the passenger side, the radius arm there is actually like a C shape, so it traps the diff like this. Cups over it. So to do that, you have to cut the mount off the diff.
Yeah, so you actually had to cut it off. Okay.
I did, yeah. So it's one of those things, If I ever take the arms out, I'll have to weld that bracket back in. I won't be able to fit a sway bar.
Okay.
But I've been told the Superflex arms are ADR approved.
Okay.
You get a certificate with it, but obviously an engineer's still got to inspect it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Thing with the Superflex arms, you were mentioning that you need a different arm for depending on the size lift you got as well?
Yeah, that's correct. Depending on the size of the lift,
is
depending on what arm is suited for that, i.e. 2-inch lift, 2-inch arm, 3-inch lift, 3-inch arm, and so forth.
Do you find that they improve your travel a lot?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I think we forgot to mention was that spacer behind your front drive shaft there.
Yeah, that's correct, yeah.
At what point would you need that? 4-inch?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. 4 or 5, it's the same spacer?
I think so, yeah. Yep.
Okay. Cool. Well, that pretty much wraps up the lift. So we'll move on. So we're now we're going to get onto the engine and the air intake. And I've noticed, Chris, you've replaced your 5-piece air intake with an actual snorkel.
Yeah, that's correct, yep. So I've gone the 4-inch stainless snorkel.
Yep.
I got this from a guy called Chris Mosley in Queensland.
Okay, yep.
Camfab. And the best thing about it is it all bolts in to factory. So
he obviously makes these as a kit then?
It it's all one complete unit.
Yeah, yeah.
And then there's just a 4-inch silicon reducer to 3-inch to straight into the airbox.
Straight into the airbox, okay. Yep. And you got it facing rear?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Is that a preference?
Yeah, you know, it's just, as I say, I ordered a Safari, and then at the last minute, I decided to go one of these, just for something different.
Yeah. Okay, that looks good. We'll start with the obvious. 2 batteries.
Yep, so 100 amp hour deep cycle for fridge and accessories and whatnot. And I got the Red Arc isolator there. So when the ignition's off, she'll cut the power to my cranking battery.
Yep.
And then any power with the ignition off, I get from the deep cycle.
I remember you used to have your uni chip up here somewhere. So you've tucked that behind the battery. Yeah,
that's correct. Yeah, so I've got a Unichip Q4.
Yep.
And that's been mounted inside the guard there.
Okay.
Next to the battery there, just for a bit of a solid amount. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you got one of the chips under the battery, have you? Because I can see 2 here.
Yeah. The other one's in with the ECU, so which is pretty much down under the battery there.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. All right, it's a tight squeeze, but you got it in.
Yeah.
Well, with your unit chip, did you get the 5-map select?
I have, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. And what tunes you got on
that? So basically, I haven't got a factory tune in there.
Oh, you haven't got the factory tune in there?
Nah. My lowest tune's still making about 200 horsepower.
Yeah.
And my highest tune's 246, I think.
Yeah, okay.
That's 650 newton meters.
From your air intake to there, you got a K&N air filter?
Yeah, that's right. Yep, K&N filter. And I always keep a couple of spares as well. As you know, the cloth oil filters. Any sort of dust, they just turn to mud.
Yeah, turn to mud pretty quick, Yep. So you carry a spare K&N and a paper filter?
Yeah, that's right.
You carry both?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
If it's really dusty, I'll just put the paper in.
Notice you got, these are diff breathers there?
Yeah, that's right. I've just got the diff breathers.
Yep.
It is a 4 breather, so I can do the transmission and transfer.
Yep.
But I'll get onto that later.
We forgot to mention Chris's exhaust underneath here. And that's a Manta, right? Yeah, it's a Manta.
Yep.
And it pops out the side exit tail. Righto.
That's right.
So you used to have it at the back?
Yeah, so I had the full system.
Okay.
With a little hot dog muffler on it.
Yep.
A mate of mine selling his side pipe. He bought it, and I think the missus complained it was too noisy.
Oh yeah.
And so I said, mate, I'll take it off your hands.
Yep.
And put it on. Yeah, I'm loving it.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. You've done the crossover pipe as well?
I did, yeah. I put the crossover pipe in there. Just so the engine can breathe a little better from the exhaust manifold.
Yep.
To match them up. It's great. It's changed the note of it. I've lost that thong slap.
Thong slapping.
Yeah. And she's breathing much nicer and sounds a lot better. So
yeah. Righto, folks. We're now going to go into Chris's cab, and he's going to run us through a few things he's got in here. You got 2 compressors in here, one on each corner.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. They're combined. So when I'm pumping my tyres up, I'm using both compressors.
Okay.
Which is real handy for 35-inch tyres.
Yeah.
She pumps them up nice and quick. But the compressor on the passenger side here, this is the one that's running my solenoids for the front and rear diff lockers.
Oh, for the diff lockers, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And what's that next to it? That's an amp, eh?
Yeah, I've just got an amp for some 6.5-inch speakers on the doors there.
Yep.
And then in the back here, usual sort of stuff, an extinguisher, a little first aid kit.
Yep.
And whatnot.
Scan gauge as well?
Yeah, so scan gauge is great. Obviously, keep an eye on the motor. I love the water temp feature on that.
Yeah.
As you know, with these things, the thermostat, the factory gauge doesn't move at all.
Nah, it doesn't.
Battery monitor here for both batteries. And then, compressor, diff locks. And then on the other side, there's the spotlights and winch control.
Yep. Oh, that's sweet. Oh, yeah, winch in, winch out from in here.
Yep.
Yeah, cool.
And then just running a couple of gauges on my pillar.
Yep.
Just for boost and EGT. And then just down here, I've put my map select for the Unichip. Bit of an awkward spot, but tucked away.
Yeah, well, it's not like you're going to be flicking it all the time.
Nah. And I've just Sigaflexed that to the dash. And then I got my roof console.
Roof console, yeah.
Yep, that's got my ICOM UHF.
Yep.
Not being biased, but ICOMs. I've had this radio since I was 19. I'm 31 now, and I won't change it.
Yeah, yeah. We're now at the back of Chris's ute, just to cover the final bits on the vehicle. This tray, Chris, is that a factory or custom?
Yeah, no, she's a factory aluminium tray from Toyota.
Factory alloy,
Yep.
All right, and you don't run the drop sides though?
I do. Obviously, when we're going away on trips, I put the drop sides on.
Yeah.
But just around the city.
Yeah.
Just leave them off. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And these toolboxes here, they're pretty well bolted down, eh?
Yeah, they're bolted down.
Yeah.
So they're just space cases.
Yep.
So in here, this is chock-a-block full of tools and recovery gear and whatnot.
Yeah.
And the other one I use for, that's my boot or my shopping, or when we go away, that's for the wife. If it fits in there, she can take it.
Yep.
If it doesn't fit, it doesn't go.
That's a good rule to have. Yeah. I've got a problem. She fills my whole canopy up.
Yeah.
Now, the thing I like about an empty tray like this is you got so much more freedom. Once you put a canopy on these things, you're kind of restricted to what you got. I mean, a canopy is good, but you're really restricted. Sometimes I wish I didn't have a canopy on the back of mine, I got to say. And plus, I reckon I look tougher without the canopy on. This fridge, I don't recognise it, but you got a cover on it. What is it?
Yeah, she's a cheapie.
Yep.
It's a Waco rip-off, but it's
Okay.
got the Danfoss compressor in it, and
Yeah.
you know, yeah, she's a cheap fridge. The reason why I got a cheap fridge, that fridge has sat on the back of my ute for 3 years now,
Yeah.
and if it breaks or if I drop it or whatever, it's a
Yeah.
$600 fridge. But she's been a bull terror. She's Exmouth floods. I had 450 mil of rain on that fridge, no problem.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
vibrations, everything. It
Yeah.
has not moved off the back of the ute,
Yeah. Okay.
and it's running all the time.
You're up there in the floods, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how many litres is it?
She's a 50-litre fridge.
50 litre.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Nice and tall, eh?
Yeah.
Spare tyre on the back
Yep.
and LED bar. Is that switch on to reverse or is that a camping light?
Nah, that's a camping light.
Yep.
Mainly just gets used for nighttime recoveries now. I
Yep.
had a bright idea to put a bright LED light on there, but she just about blinds everyone. So yeah, usually they go on the front of the car, not the back.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a big light, eh? That's your reverse lights, obviously, then.
Yep, that's correct.
And you got a nice big fuel tank here.
Yeah, that's right. She's it's a Brown and Davis,
Yep.
and she holds 170 litres.
170 litres.
So yeah, with my factory 90-litre tank, that gives me
260.
260. If we work on say 15 litres per 100, which you'll do on the highway,
Yeah,
that gives me about 1,700 kilometres.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
That is awesome.
yeah. It's great to be able to, you go
Yeah.
do the whole southwest. I
Yeah,
don't stop for fuel.
you basically got double what I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, double 130 litre. Cool. And I noticed you still got heaps of room in here, eh?
Yeah.
Any plans for anything?
Oh, I've thought about putting a water tank in there.
Yep.
See what happens.
Mrs. hasn't called for a kitchen in there.
Hey, yeah.
Righto folks, time for some Q&A. So Chris, the first question will be your top 3 mods for your 79 series that you recommend for our viewers.
All right, number one, it has to be diff locks.
Diff locks?
100%. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's number 1.
Number 2, tyres. You certainly get a lot further with bigger tyres.
Yep.
Better clearance.
Yep.
And number 3, you'd have to go the chip.
The chip?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice when you put your foot down and you actually go.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually feels like a car, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Not a truck. Yeah, cool. All right, well, so that's your top 3. So it was diff lockers, tyres, and the chip.
Yep.
So what is your must-have accessory for you specifically? What's something you have to have on the car that you just can't go without?
I reckon it's the most underrated thing, right? But I'm gonna have to go with a good compressor.
Good compressor?
It's
Yep.
funny, no one thinks about the compressor,
Yeah,
but every single time you go forward driving, what are you doing?
yeah. Filling the tyres up.
That's right. And if you got a good compressor, on the weekend, for example, I had a friend,
Yep.
37-inch tyres, busted the bead on there, or popped the bead on it, full of dirt.
Yeah,
My compressor was able to, clean the bead out, pop the tyre back on, keep going.
enough pressure.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, cool. That's a valid point, eh?
Yeah. It's, people rock up with their basketball pumps thinking they're going to pump up tyres, and it's not going to work.
Yeah, it is quite frustrating actually because everyone else is done and you're waiting for that last bloke pumping up a
Yeah.
mini compressor.
So that's what I think,
Yeah.
because you're using it every time you go forward driving.
Yeah, cool. Oh, that's a good one, that one. I didn't expect that one. All right, well, with what's your favourite trip so far in this rig? I mean, you had it for a while, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I go up the coast a lot, you know, Coral Bay, Ningaloo.
Yep.
You know, I love going up there. Probably the most memorable was if you could call it our honeymoon, but the holiday we went straight after the wedding.
Yep.
Up at Exmouth, 450 mil of rain in 24 hours, driving through floodways over the bonnet,
Yeah,
pulling
right.
cars out with snatch ropes.
Far out.
When everyone was leaving town, we were having too much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Made the most out of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
situation. Yeah.
Yeah. Emily wasn't too happy about it though.
Yeah. At least you had fun. Next question. What did you drive before you had this vehicle?
Before I had this, I had a Holden Slowdeo,
Slow down.
a Slowdeo, which is a Rodeo.
Yep.
And I had that Rodeo for, yeah. Well, I only ever owned 2 cars.
Yeah. Okay.
I sort of hang on to my stuff. Yeah.
What year was the Rodeo?
She was a 2000 model,
2000 model. It's a 2-seater.
dual cab.
Dual cab. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So I went from the dual cab to the single cab.
Single cab. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is the next big mod or multiple small mods?
I think I'm gonna do the cooler on it,
The cooler. Yep.
aftermarket intercooler.
Top mounted still.
Yeah, I think I'll go top mount.
Yep.
Yep. And I'll do the turbo as well.
And the turbo as well. Yeah. Well, folks, thanks for watching. Thanks, Chris, for bringing the car on. You can subscribe right here. Also, at the end, there'll be some links to some previous modified videos. Thanks again. See ya.